Greetings, Clausewitz here, and today I want to talk about shock tactics. So when you hear this term shock in a military sense, you actually see this mostly, or most of the time you see this in the form of shock-cavalry, which is then described or shown as cavalry which is specialized to charge the enemy in the rear or in the back, and basically using his weak points to defeat him. And this is basically it. Also, you see this concept in the video game series Total War, where cavalry is marked as shock cavalry if they are able, or not able, but if they have a high effective charge, so basically very high initial damage phase, but can't then fight or defend themselves furthermore in melee. So I want to propose a system which I call shock tactics, which is basically connected to those and can also be applied on those kind of troops, but also means a bigger, or has a bigger meaning in itself. And you can see this basically all around the world and in every military. So you see, I call it specifically shock tactics because it is a performance of soldiers on the battlefield to achieve a certain goal. And basically the same with skirmishing. So what is the performance and what is the goal? I would say shock tactic means a very hard-hitting aimed attack with the goal to break the enemy formation where it's aimed on, or to decrease their defensive and respectively or their attack, so that other troops can then break or defeat them, like ranged troops or regular heavy infantry or another shock attack, or that they are so weak now in their attack actually that they can't be a threat or a serious threat anymore for your own troops. So, and you see this with like a vast array of examples, like with the companion cavalry of the ancient Macedonians, which were like riding around the enemy army and hitting them in their back to then break them and decide the battle actually. Also with the cataphracts of the eastern nations and in like ancient times, also later in medieval times. But we also see this concept with infantry, like for example samurai in Japan in the next Shingoku Shidai era, like 15th, 16th century, had basically very two-handed versions of the regular katana, maybe most of you are familiar with, and they were also there for basically a very hard-hitting attack because of the big blade, a big lever. And also very similar, the soldiers, but the mercenaries of the Landsknechte in the late medieval and Renaissance Europe also basically performed this before two mercenary formation with their pikes and halberds and everything would hit each other or meet. Basically they sent also some guys with the big Zweihänder swords or Wiedenhänder or like two-handed swords, and to attack the enemy pike formation so that they are maybe also broken, but this is very unlikely just because of the type of the formation and how many they are, but basically to weaken them so much that their own mercenaries can then defeat them. And this is basically what I mean with shock tactics, and like I said, you can apply to many things and also can perform by many troops. It's heavily connected to their equipment, but not like you need this and this weapon for this. You can also use the two-handed axe or maybe even something like a pole weapon, but it has to be an attack which is so hard-hitting that basically in a short time the enemy formation then break with the attack basically, or is so weak that other troops can then defeat them. And I really like this concept, and it gives you a good overview, and it's also a very simple and effective tactic. And also like charging enemies in the rear or in the flank to just with the force of the charge and break the formation, so then they will rout. And yeah, well, tell me what you think about this, and if you enjoyed this video then give it a like, and subscribe to my channel if you already did. I talk about military stuff in here, so hopefully see you soon.